My fear is just the fear of rejection, the fear of approval of people.
Chaos controlled my life in many ways. It made my life very dysfunctional. It brought me into places that I didn't want to be.
I did not know I had doubted God, and I was doubting God and His promises.
So when I chose to come back to church, you see all these beautiful, godly people. How do you be like them? And you don't know if they're going to reject you once they learn that you were once this terrible sinner. You were once the person that was so drunk that you couldn't walk. And so it was a fear of rejection. And not only was it fear of people, it was the fear that God wouldn't love you, that God wouldn't forgive you, that God wouldn't accept you. And trying to figure out how to get God to love you, and realizing that you didn't have to earn that.
It brought me to losing a lot of things in life where, hurting family ones, losing my wife and my kids. It got to the point also where the manipulation led to addiction. I was heavy into the addiction of pornography. Like my wife wasn't even good enough for me anymore. That was part of my life, is nothing was good enough. I was bored all the time. I wanted the next best thing. Instead of realizing and looking at what I had in front of me and turning to Jesus back then, I just was feeding off my flesh each and every day, which brought me down and brought me, to a place I didn't want to be. But, now, I have a beautiful wife that I can look at every single day and say, what was wrong with me? She's beautiful, gorgeous, she's a great mother, and she's very fulfilling to me. And the people around me are starting to come back in my life, for the good, and they're seeing the different person that I am now, and it's all because of Jesus.
I became angry, became upset with my life, especially after deployment, coming back home to the same old things and wondering, God, what's my purpose? And feeling that I didn't have a purpose, which led me to believing that God doesn't love me enough, or doesn't love me, or just has to love me. Then why would He fulfill these promises that people keep telling me that He will? I believed that God will fulfill other people's promises. I believed that God would love them. But when it came to me, I did not believe that. I doubted God's love for me because of shame. And last January, I came out of a broken, dark place. I hated my life. I didn't find my value because of abuse that I put myself in. I was putting that on myself, thinking that it was my fault, thinking that if God doesn't love me, then no one else will love me. So what's the point of my whole life? What's the point of just being here?
My life was so sad, without Christ, that I used alcohol to treat my pain, and without Christ, suicide was an option a lot. I had so much pain. That rejection, you don't know what empty is until you've lived that life. And that's another rejection. How would people think, or what would they think about me, knowing that I spent so many nights contemplating, should I live? Should I die? Who needs me here?
It was a weird situation. I finally got to a place where I hit this wall, and I finally said enough is enough, and got on my hands and knees and pretty much, stripped myself completely naked and just was screaming out for God and asking Him to come into my life. And, finally, can I hear you? Like I've always tried. And finally I heard a voice in my ear. It said, son, I've always been here. I've been waiting for you. And it just dropped me to my knees. I felt numb from my leg. I couldn't move. My legs were numb. I couldn't move my neck. I couldn't move. I was paralyzed. And what that was the Holy Spirit coming into my body and transforming my heart and my mind and changing my life for the good, for Jesus.
God met me in this season at the women's conference by solidifying that I am a child of God. And we are all adopted children of God, but we're His precious children, and I'm His precious daughter, and that He loves me uniquely. He has so much love for us. And in order for me to love on other people, I need to understand that like, he loves me first, and I need to understand that so that I can love on others.
And one Sunday, Jared preached, and I remember it was like chains were broken. I don't even know exactly what he was preaching about, but I could feel the chains being broken off of me. And there was even scriptures that I knew that Satan was using against me, telling me that I couldn't come back. But that Sunday, those chains were being broken, that I was forgiven. The sins that I had committed, they're done. It was gone. And it's like he took blood that, from when Christ died, that blood was taken and everything was wiped away. So all the shame that I had been dealing with for so many years, it was gone.
My transformation that he's put in my life, changing my heart, my mind, my soul, those desires and those temptations I had are all totally gone. I have my desires now are for my faith, for Jesus. I would never look back now. A leper can never change his spots, but Jesus changed my spots.
Right now, God is meeting me with knowing that I'm his child and that I'm precious and that I have an inheritance of the kingdom, that I am the head and not the tail, and that he loves me. So going forward from that is so freeing, and I can praise him freely. I have this freedom in me. Take all our thoughts of doubt and we can give them to him and just know and rest in his presence.
My name is Sarah.
My name is Lino Stenta.
I'm Danielle Dillard.
And Jesus has silenced my fear.
And Jesus has silenced my chaos.
Jesus has silenced my doubt.